All right, my friends, welcome back to Salt City Counseling. Once again, my name's Scott. I'm a licensed therapist here in the beautiful state of Utah. If you're new here, I hope that you will subscribe. I hope you're doing good out there. I'm great. Truthfully, I'm great. I really am. I experience large amounts of happiness. I was determined at one point in my life to figure out what it means to be happy, and I was going to find it. I was going to look for happiness, and I was going to find it wherever I had to look, wherever I had to find it. I was going to find it, and frankly, I have. I didn't find happiness where I thought I would find it, and I'm more than happy to kind of share some of these secrets with you all and unlock some of these secrets of happiness. And I'm sitting here at my computer watching this lady get her weird tiny dog out of her car. My podcast, especially on my Patreon page, outlines some specific ways to actually like piece together some happiness, the formula. There's a formula for happiness. There's an equation for happiness. It's not what you think it is, I promise. But I give you the keys, I give you the combination, I give you the puzzle pieces on my Patreon and my podcast. Go check out Healing Our Masculinity podcast. This video is a continuation of Healing the Masculine here on YouTube. And I'm going to talk about how good men are compassionate, that this is a trait of a good man. And we as men, we sometimes see this stereotype or this trope about men being heartless, being cruel, just being closed off, nasty, cold-hearted sons of bitches, and as though that somehow is some sort of form of masculinity, and that's what it means to be a real man. I entirely disagree. I disagree 100%. I think the best men, the most masculine men, are actually highly compassionate. That does not mean whatsoever that you're a pushover or that you're a doormat or that you allow people to walk on you or to harm you. It does not mean that you just open the doors and let people in and take advantage of you and use you as a doormat. It doesn't mean that whatsoever. In fact, I'm a big believer in tough love, but I also believe that I believe in the duality, right? I believe in the yin and the yang. I believe that if you're going to be highly compassionate, you also have to have really strong boundaries. You have to create a balance. If you're going to be really compassionate, you have to balance it with something else, if that makes sense, right? Or if you're going to be really tough on people, you have to balance it. Like if you have kids and you're like, I'm going to be tough on my kids. I want to raise the bar high, and I'm going to be a drill sergeant, and I'm going to motivate them and push them and push them and push them. You have to balance it with something else. If you're going to be harsh, you have to balance it with something good, if that makes sense, right? And a lot of people don't understand this dynamic. Okay, being compassionate does not mean that you get pushed around, that you get knocked down, that you allow people to walk all over you, that you allow people to use you as a doormat. Does not mean that whatsoever. And I also know that here in this modern era, it's difficult, and I know, guys, I do. Believe me, I know it is hard to be compassionate and to exercise and practice compassion in a world that does not give us any, because men don't get a lot of compassion. We are kept on a tight leash. Men do not get a lot of compassion. I believe that women do actually get more compassion than men do. I know people are going to disagree with me. That's fine. um, but I know that from the standpoint of being men, it can be easy to feel like, why should I give compassion when people don't give it to me? If I don't give compassion, or if I don't get compassion, how on earth can I give it? And I'll answer that here in a moment. I'll give you the guidelines on kind of how to solve this. At least I'll point you in the right direction. And the truth of the matter is, like, I'm compassionate. I deliberately exercise and practice compassion, and I do it in the masculine way. I don't do it the way that women do it. I'm not, and like, I'm not gushy, right? I'm not really gushy. I'm not like, there. Let me go warm up some tea. Here's some wine, girlfriend. I'm not that type of compassion. I'm a compassionate man, but I do it in a masculine way, right? Um, and that to me is comes with a healthy dose of stoicism. But the going back to the question, How are we supposed to exercise and practice compassion if we're not receiving any? And why should we? Well, here's the real answer. Okay, I'll just give it to you straight. Because then you'll feel better about yourself because it will improve your individual day to day experience. And I mean, plain and simple, right? And in the process, you'll also be a better person. You'll do good in the world. You'll be better to the people around you. But first and foremost, it's like altruism. Do the right thing just because it's the right thing, and you'll just feel so much better about yourself. You want to know one of the secrets to self-esteem? It's altruism. Happiness, good relationships, altruism, just doing the right thing because it's the right thing, so that you can go to bed at night being like, yeah, I did my best. I stayed true to myself, and I did what I believed was right today. Okay, and that's what a good man does. And even if the world is lobbing crap at you, which it is, you got to find it within yourself too to just be like, I'm going to be compassionate because then I'll feel better about myself. But it also helps. Here's the answer to that other question. It also helps immensely for you to solve or your inner war and bring inner peace. Okay, you have to be good to you. You have to learn to be compassionate towards yourself first. You have to abandon perfectionism. You have to learn to solve your self-hatred. Again, all this stuff, gentlemen, is addressed in my podcast and on my Patreon page. So go check it out. Go subscribe. My Patreon page is vastly, vastly cheaper than therapy. And I'm gonna lay it out for you on how to do all this stuff, how to win your inner war and all those things. So links will be in the description. So go check them out, guys. Anyways, what I want to steer you away from too is this idea that strong men or good men or like if you want to be a real masculine man, then you're cold and you're heartless and you don't experience emotion and you don't experience compassion or empathy. And I think that's complete and utter nonsense. I think that's complete trash. That's garbage. In fact, to me, that's being kind of sociopathic. I did a video recently talking about like Jungian psychology. Carl Jung believed that you could have basically a positive or a negative, right, demonstration of certain traits, right? He used the archetype of a king. A good king is a good leader. He listens. He's compassionate. People are happy to follow him. People love following him. A bad leader is a tyrant. He's a dictator. He's harsh and he's cruel. Okay, and good men exemplify those compassionate traits. He's a good listener and all that stuff. And what I would encourage you to do is to abandon all these ideas that strong, manly men are cruel and heartless. To me, and I say this all the time, I don't know, I don't feel like I know a lot of men or meet a lot of men, but I do know and I meet a lot of boys in adult male bodies. We just have never grown up. We've abandoned, we don't have any of those things that help our boys become men. It's just an age now, right? Instead of like a psychological thing. To me, a man is a psychological thing. You could be 48 and still be a boy, right? And to be fair, guys, I don't meet a lot of grown-up women either. I meet women who have never, just know a ton of women who have never really grown up either, whether passive aggressive, dishonest communication and their unrealistic expectations that we're supposed to read their minds. That's childish, right? That's completely childish. That's just the truth. Um, but I digress. Just a little bit. So abandon these ideas of like being a man means you're heartless and cruel. To me, when you see men do that, those are children trying to emulate men. Or like I did a video recently too on alpha males. If you hear stuff about alpha males and guys trying to be an alpha male, to me that's a boy trying to emulate a man, a real man, a true masculine man. So ditch that stuff. Realize that a compassionate man is a good man and is a real man. That is a man who is healthy in his masculinity. And it starts again. You got to basically win your inner war. I like quotes. I'm going to read a couple of quotes to you. One of them is the Stoicism quote written by Marcus Aurelius. If you don't know Marcus, he was I believe, a Roman emperor who basically was the father of Stoicism. It's philosophy. Anyways, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Meaning that, like when the world is in chaos or there's a storm, be a mountain. Okay. Then one last quote. I'm going to end this video. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. You must learn to win your inner war. Okay. I got a whole bunch more content on that. Again, on my podcast and my Patreon. So go check it out. Go sign up. Go subscribe, fellas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you are determined to build a better life. Like, dedicate yourself to it, guys. It's a lifestyle. Okay. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.